All right, now we're going to do spray painting. I have, so you can go buy spray paint from the hardware store, Walmart, right? Amazon if you want to buy. There's basically, you've got enamel type stuff. So enamel paints versus you got your regular, your lacquers, your, so this is like just Rust-Oleum. You guys see that, right? You can get some glitter, fancier stuff. You can get whatever spray paint you want. These are all different paints I have. I bought on Amazon, I bought a kit of graffiti paint. It costs like $500, but it has so many different colors that it's kind of, it gave a different color set than when you go to, you know, your red, your blues, your green. They'll end up doing the same if you're not careful. Also, I bought a bunch of colors saying, okay, I want everything other. Okay, that lime green has not been used once. So you're better off to wait till the kid says, this is what I want, to go get the color. These paints are, this paint that I got is a little bit better than that Rust-Oleum one. But I just want you to know, if you're like, wow, why has he got so many? I bought that as a kit to have like a whole bunch of different color blues and stuff here. So this is sprayed. If you look, see how you see blue, white, and red, and black on the edges. He taped that to get that. So what we did is we painted the whole thing white, sprayed it white, not sealed. You still see the thing. Then we went and sprayed. I think he did the blue, and you can see the line through. And then I think he did the red after. And then I think he taped it, and then he did the black. It's not done yet, so it's not a finished paint. But does that make sense? And that's just a rattle can. A couple tricks with the rattle cans: if you put them in hot water, like heat the water up, take a little tub, put it in the tub. So put it not over it, up to kind of like here. Let it sit in warm water before you use it. It will atomize it a little better and make it thinner. So especially when I go outside in the cold and we're doing it. But when Ella went out, she had to stand there in the cold and do it. The can gets really cold, but you go out and do it and then come back in and let the can heat up. And okay, shake it. Obviously, those other kings, the heads, you can buy better heads, spray heads, that little nozzles to put on that you just reuse over and over and over again. Those graffiti ones, their nozzles are 10 times better than what this is. You also, I kind of recommend doing this. I buy one of these handles to use. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, I don't do this inside. I do this outside. I'm going to just demo a little bit, but you can have, if you were doing inside stuff, masking up your, regular cloth mask, stuff like that. We did one time, we put it by the windows, had fans sucking, I said I made a paint booth type thing. Then I realized like it's just easier to take it outside. I take this hanging rack. And what we do is we just take that right outside. We take this hanging rack, we take it outside, we put it on the rack, and then we go like this. And we stand outside with it. Does that make sense? Okay. Couple things as you got to teach the kids. They'll all do this. They'll try to fill it all at once. What you got to think about is this way. I'm going to try to show it sideways so you see it. You want to be a can width away. Okay. So I say to the kids, keep the paint a can width away. Also, don't scoop in and scoop out. So what that means is the kids will spray, they'll scoop in. Well, what that does is you feel more paint here and you have less paint on your edges. So they'll go like this and scoop out. What you try to do is go this way, straight back and forth. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go whoosh. Now, the other thing too is you kind of want to, so if you have this much, the next time I overlap a little bit. I go over and then I overlap. I don't overlap the exact same one. I overlap a little bit and I work my way up and down. Does that make sense? Okay. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray. I am not trying to cover it all at once. The first coat you won't. You'll go and you won't. And then so what I get them to do is just go through once, stop, flip it, do the back side. This gets a little tricky because of the guitar. So I do the front, I do the back. This, I will hold this. I also use my vice tables. and we'll take it outside. And does that make sense? But then that also gives me the ability to go on the sides. Again, you got to fight them from them trying to go and go, try to cover it all up. Does that make sense? I'm only going to do this for a second because I don't want to smell us out. Actually, normally do this outside, so.
The kids have a mask on when they're outside?
Depending on what the wind and what there is, yes, I have tons of, you guys know, we now have tons of the cloth one.
Yeah.
I mask up cloth one outside. I don't know if I necessarily worry about this outside, depending on what the wind is, you know what I mean? But 9% time, you're not getting the off gases when you're outside, nowhere near. So basically just, you guys see how I did that?
Mm-hmm.
Notice I didn't go whoosh, and I didn't go, and now I'd overlap the next one. But notice it's not all covered in. Does that make sense? Okay. So and now I'll take it outside and I'll do this. We go to that?
Mm-hmm.
Comfortable?
I also found that I did have a kid spray paint the other day. I had to tell them which way is the wind going.
Yes.
Do not have the wind going into your face when you're spraying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The other thing we forget is they've never done it. They don't know. Like we've seen and they don't know. Also I have to get them, don't be careful where they do it because they'll go right beside the school. And then I'll look and go, oh, it's a guitar shape on that brick wall. So you got to get them like away from the school.
What class did that?
Yeah. No. Well, I've had two. We were outside here painting. We had outside here painting, and I didn't think of it. Well, the teacher had her window open, and the smell. She's probably smelled it. And I went, oh yeah, I didn't think about the wind going, and it just, how schools have places that the vortex goes. But everybody comfortable with the painting type thing? The key with this is
my question would be, you would do that the whole way, and it would just look blotchy and crappy.
Yep. At first, well, it's not gonna. I can get it to
Well,
look.
how many coats would you guess?
Oh, I'm gonna do one or two, depending on. Okay, it's the paint. This paint, see how good that is? That's that graffiti paint, and that's without filling, and say you can barely see the grain in it.
That's one spray?
That paint is from just spraying. That's it, nothing else. It's always weird too, just to tell you.
Just
when
a single coat of spray.
No, this is twice.
Okay.
But well, this is when I say twice. This is not twice, 2 different days. This is we went and did it by the beginning. We have about an hour and a half, you two. So at the beginning and then going back out. So it has 2 coats, but not 2 dried coats, not 2 curd coats. I might, we could go throw one more on, but I'm not going to worry about it because he's going to dip paint, so it's going to be hidden. But this paint, you can see the difference in quality. This is Rust-Oleum cheap Walmart spray paint. This is right.
Yeah.
Now, this body's not like this is from one of your bodies, so. The bodies are going to be better now. Your paint's this paint, when I spray this, is going to look better on this than this one because this body's cheaper. It's the wood, the thing. But the paint itself, this paint and that paint, this is that
The graffiti was probably designed by multiple graffiti artists.
Yeah, well, and you go on, you can see the brand and I'll put it in, but I was like, oh, because I was trying to find multiple colors because what you find is the kids, like they want, it's weird too. These green guitars have been really interesting. It's colors that you don't normally see. And the one kid last year put brown for the neck with it. And you're like, that's going to look horrible and look really cool because it's something totally unique. But I do want to point out, you do definitely see the quality, how it lays out too. And this is my life skills kid. This is my kid that okay, what did we get up? I figured he was going to, that's the one that did the neck that painted everywhere. So does that make sense to you guys? So the qualities of paint are kind of different in the two. But the other thing too is I'm not worried about blotchiness with this sort of stuff because we're going to fill this in. We're going to make it when it's all done. We're going to fill in. I will go outside with this and do a coat just so you guys can see me doing it in a little bit.
So the thinner layers too will give you a stronger finish.
Yeah. It'll give it a more, you can make it more even when you're done too. But the other thing too is you'll get kids that will drip. They don't, some kids, oh, I want that. You can make them sand. So if I get all this done and I have a big drip, you can sand it. And then you have to do layers again. But you can. Finish is all about your prep, like how you prep and then how you work your way through with it. Everybody comfortable with paint? Does that make sense? I need you to, and the paints are unlimited is what your choice. I will point out, enamel is going to lay different than the Rust-Oleum. You know, it's depending, you know, what you're doing, lacquer versus Rust-Oleum. That becomes a personal preference a lot of times.
What is this stuff?
Graffiti paint, I think it's,
Is
if
it
you,
an enamel?
yeah, look on the back. I think it's an enamel version. I think I put that in the link. If not, I'll make sure it's there. It's
How
a
many
kit.
cans did you get with that?
Oh, it was like whatever. Like it was 4 per color. So it's like, it was a pretty big, it was like a $400 or $500 thing, but it was like a lot of paint. I wasn't expecting as much as I had. And I've worked my way through it. You can see and also what happens is the kids all work. Oh, we all want blue. So that all disappears. And now I have all paint. Next year will be all like green became, because that's what I have. So I'm not going to really buy a bunch more until I kind of clear that out. And then I'll specifically, if a kid comes to me and says, I want this, you get